Welcome to Panda's Palace. I thought that my topic would be sort of a light entry topic because I have some other topics, but I was like, maybe I should wait a couple weeks until that. So we're going to talk about dating websites, not to be confused with online dating. That's a whole separate topic, whole separate subject. So I'm talking dating websites as in OkCupid and Plenty of Freaks. Please do not be offended if you use those. I'm sure you're a lovely person. Dating websites, I feel now, are a lot less taboo and a lot less weird than they were even 2 years ago. I have always sort of been dating online. And my friends always used to pick on me for it and always, oh, that's so weird. You can't meet people in real life? And it's like, no, you know what? I can't. So because of these wonderful websites, it's a lot easier to go, oh, okay, you scroll through, you find your Prince Charming or Princess Charming or whomever, and you say hey, or you wait for them to say hi to you. You click on their profile and see if they come to you first. That's a good thing. I would like to hear about your experiences because I'm sure they differ from mine. I know one of my best friends, her recent boyfriend was off OkCupid and they hit it off and they did well for a while, and he was a normal guy, and you know, maybe I'm the only one that kind of attracts the crazies and friends that kind of about 5 years ago I joined Plenty of Fish. And I didn't have really any high expectations. I just joined because I'm basically a member of like almost every online site there is, let's be honest here. And can I just say that Plenty of Fish needs to get their act together with this whole weight situation. I think they have slim, average, athletic, and then skips to BBW and BBW is slashed with tall. Now, I'm not going to put athletic because I'm not. I'm not going to put average because, let's face it, I'm not. And I'm not going to put BBW because I think a lot of people then go, okay, you know what BBW stands for. You know, BBW is big, beautiful woman. But I'm in between that. I'm like, can they just have like cuddly or something? So then they give you the option to put rather not answer. So then when people go to your page, they say, doesn't want to answer, which I think is kind of like, I guess, a cop-out. But I'm not going to, you know, put something that I don't feel I am. I find that maybe girls not lie, but embellish on their weight on this site. Men do it with their height. And I'm not saying if you are 5'10" and you put 6 feet that I'm gonna take out a measuring tape and make sure that you are what you say. But I'm saying if you have down 5'7" and you come to meet me and you are 5'4" or 5'5", which is an inch taller than me, then I'm not gonna notice. And this is not me being shallow. If you had your height as it was, great. I know going into this date or into this meeting how you are. I don't know what it is about men and even women communicating when there is a screen in front of your face. I'd love to get you laid and all these, just like, what are you doing? You wouldn't say this to a person, I hope not, in person. But I don't know what it is, and I don't know if you've shared similar experiences or maybe you do the same thing. Maybe it works for you. It doesn't work for me. I strayed away from Plenty of Fish until I think I just decided to go on there when I was bored. He messaged me first, and this is when I was just kind of using it to entertain myself, to see the types of messages I was getting. I wasn't looking for anything serious, but I got a message, and it wasn't him hitting on me. He said, who do you think would win in an arm wrestling match, Oprah or Godzilla? So I was like, okay, he's got a sense of humor. So I clicked his page and found out he was a skateboarder. Now I got hard eyes for that. He seemed like a good guy, but again, I was very reserved. This is when MSN was still up, so we would MSN and I would make him cam with me, and so I knew, okay, this is what this person looks like. And I think we talked on the phone a couple times, and he was always like, let's meet, let's meet. I think I spoke to him for about a year, almost a year, before I was like, okay, I guess it's been long enough, let's meet. So I got him to come to one of my favorite bars. He says he is 5'7". He comes to meet me and he is shorter than me. Let me stress, would not be an issue if I had known. So he comes and I can tell he's already drunk, so I'm going, okay, whatever, maybe he was nervous. We go in the bar, I'm with my friends. I understand how it may have been a little bit uncomfortable because I'm with my friends and he came by himself. But I'm trying to be as inclusive as I possibly can, trying to include him into conversation and whatnot. But he's being really clingy. He's already like trying to hold my hand and arm around me and just like really touchy, grabby. I'm not a huge fan of grabbiness, especially with someone I just met, especially in public. It was like he didn't want anyone else to look at me that I was his. Having a conversation, he kind of taps me on my shoulder and goes, you know what, I'm gonna go. I'm going, why? He goes, well, you're busy, you're talking with your friends. And I'm going, well, I came here with my friends, I'm not gonna ditch them and just go sit in a corner and talk to you. I said, just include yourself, they're all really nice. And so he kept going, can you just come outside with me for a minute? Just come outside with me for a minute. So I went, okay, I'm gonna go outside with him for a minute. And then it was just like, pushed against the wall, mouth on mine. And I was just kind of like, oh, not again. Why not again? I'm like, oh, I don't really like doing that. Like, I just tried to play it off, didn't want him to feel too uncomfortable and awkward. And then so my friends outside, like, come on, let's go. And so I tell him we're gonna leave. I don't care if you're a pro skateboarder. I don't care if you're sponsored by a million companies. You don't do that. You don't make out with me when I clearly don't want to make out with you. It was just not good. So we went our separate ways, and from then on I'm getting all these Facebooks like, let's go for coffee. Oh, you don't like me. And I can't remember how I think I just kind of was giving him short replies because I'm not the type of person, I just can't straight up be like, yo, I don't like you. I'm not that type of person. I can't do that. I can't really remember how it kind of festered off, but it did. I'm staying away from dating websites now. I will never judge anyone that uses dating websites. If you use it, that's great. I would love to hear some success stories because obviously I don't have any. I would love to know what site worked for you. And I'm keeping this to dating websites, sites that are set up for singles to meet singles. Are dating websites your kind of thing? Have you used them before? If you meet someone off a dating website, do you tell your friends that's how you met them? That's always been my thing, where if somebody is like, oh, how did you meet so-and-so? You say, okay, Cupid, plenty of fish. I usually just say, I met him through a friend. I think dating websites as a whole is a good idea. I think it helps lonely people meet lonely people. I think it helps shy people get out there. I do think it's a good thing. I just think you need to weed out a lot of people. So if you don't mind weeding, then it's for you. But I'm really curious to hear any of your experiences. So thank you again for watching me. I will see you sometime. I will for sure see you next Thursday. And bye!
Well, what can I say? I actually have looked at a couple. I actually started looking at them before transition, and now it's one of those things where it's really not sure what to do with it, / deactivating them for now because I don't know where I'm going in the dating realm at this point. But the two I've used, OkCupid and One Good Love. Talk about that one in a second. Alright, I think it was already mentioned in the form of OkStupid. And I kind of agree with that because you can tell they built the site for, I don't know how you want to put it, heteronormative people And then obviously decided we need to jump on this whole gay, lesbian, whatnot bandwagon. So let's tack that on and add some functions that sound good and see what we can get. And you can tell it feels almost like a tacked on product, because while they have tweaked things with people complaining, there's not the right questions or the right responses. And that is definitely a problem with that site, is you can never get it exactly. You end up having to write a whole story narrative in your about section to explain what you're looking for and what you're trying to do. And instead of being able to just pick from their lists and then using the about section and to actually talk about you and not try to explain everything. I don't know. I'm pretty much just ignoring OkCupid at this point. One Good Love. Read about that one in, I don't know if it was GLAAD or some LGBT-based news source. And there's some good things and bad things about that. Good things is it was completely made by LGBT-type people. They ask the right questions. You can even put in, you're a transgender male, transgender female, looking for, and they have the right stuff. But it's so small. There's no audience. Unless you live in a major city, no one's really ever heard of it. So if you live in the middle of, let's say Michigan, there's not a lot to choose from on it. It's a very limited pool. So if One Good Love and OkCupid could have a love child together, pun intended, that would be a much nicer service. And that's kind of how I'm thinking most of them are out there. I mean, it's all like things got tacked on after the fact. I don't know. I mean, I love the idea of online dating services because, well, I'm a geek, and why wouldn't I like that? But they're just not quite where they need to be, and maybe I'm just not quite where I need to be yet. Because, well, hell, I don't pass. So, yeah. They're getting better, but for now, my dating services are put on hold because, yeah. If you like them, good luck. If you don't, well, Hermitage can be fun too. Or I guess you maybe have to get outside. That's gonna happen. Anyway. I didn't want to make this a long one this time, so that's it. Bye.
Howdy, it's Wesley, and we are talking about dating websites. I literally just went on a date with someone I met on OkCupid, and I had not done that in years before I transitioned. I used some of the Craigslist, like Women Seeking Women. I don't think I met very many people through that, but I did meet this one girl that I dated very briefly, and we're still friends. I was also using OkCupid. I can't remember if I used it when I was still living in Oakland, California, or not. But when I first moved to Portland 3 years ago, I was on there because I didn't know anybody, and I figured it was a good way to meet people along with maybe find someone to date. I didn't really have any luck though. I remember meeting one person in particular. I'm not sure if I met more than her or not, but it was like, I don't know, really like how often does the person actually look like they do in the photographs? And that's not all that it encompasses, but there's definitely part of an attraction that lies in appearance and then just the personality that goes along with it. I mean, my overall conclusion is that I'm not going to know if I am interested in someone until I meet them in person and I see how we connect, not through writing or images, but through actual in-person interaction. This girl that I just went on an OkCupid date with, I didn't have high expectations because my philosophy is as stated previously, but, you know, we're talking about all these different things that we click so well on. And then we meet and just the chemistry is just not there. We still have all of those awesome things in common. We still overlap in lots of our interests or what we find funny, what we like to do. But there's something clearly missing. And that piece of it, which Panda definitely touches on a lot, there's no way of gauging that piece until you meet them in person. So I don't think it's a hopeless cause. My aunt met her husband on the internet, and they've been married for like 12 years. OkCupid gives you percentages of how compatible you are. How accurate are those percentages? Really, come on. But I still use it. I still think that it's a way to potentially meet someone, even meet a new friend. I find it hard to meet new people when I'm not in school, and I don't know, it's not as easy as it used to be. I've also observed some pretty interesting observations having been on OkCupid as a female and now being on it as male. It was so much easier to find people to talk to and meet up with when I was listed as a female interested in females than it is as a male interested in females. That goes into a whole nother topic, really, because for a while I had my orientation listed as bisexual on OkCupid as a male, and it seemed like I was getting a lot more attention from men than women, just based on like profile views and little things like that. Like Andie said, OkCupid really isn't set up for queer people, and that's something I struggle with a lot too. So the date I went on recently, my profile says I'm a straight male and it doesn't say anything about me being trans, and her profile said female and bisexual. And my plan was, unless I found myself in a conversation with her where I was needing to beat around the bush and divert the conversation to not say that I'm trans, I wasn't going to bring it up. But if it was super relevant to the conversation we were having, then I would casually say it. And then if I liked her and I wanted to go on a second date with her, then on that second date, I would let her know. That remains to be my plan. She was really open about talking about her past relationship with women, and it kind of seemed like she's actually more into women than into men. And it made me question, like, oh, should I tell her? Maybe I'll become more attractive. But, like, that's not what it's about at all. It made me question, oh, I'm not being open enough. So maybe if I was more open about, A, the fact I'm trans, B, the fact that I have dated boys. I don't really identify as straight. It's just what I choose when I'm given the options of straight, bisexual, and gay. So I'm sitting there thinking, maybe if I just let my walls down a little bit, maybe if I was more open about my past relationships with guys or that I'm trans, we would be able to get into more intimate conversation and feel closer. But I just think it came down to me knowing that there was not a connection there, regardless of her perceiving me as a cis, straight, heteronormative type guy, which was really weird. That was my first time experiencing that. That was my first date I'd ever been on where the person didn't know I was trans. For me, dating websites become really complex when I bring in the fact that I'm trans. I mean, part of me just feels like it's no big deal. Okay, I'm going to meet up with this girl. I like girls. I'm a guy. She likes guys. Like, what's the big deal? Maybe there isn't one. Maybe there is one. I don't know. I hadn't heard of the One Good Love website that Andie was talking about, and I actually just checked it out. I quickly made an account, and I'm in Portland, which is a very queer city. There were like 0 people on there that matched my criteria, which was pretty wide spectrum of criteria. So, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Those are kind of my scattered thoughts on dating websites, because it's a hot topic in my life right now. I'm going lady crazy. Yeah. There's some pretty ones in this town. I just gotta meet them. Alright.
So dating websites for me, I don't really know what to tell you. They haven't went, no, they have went a bit wrong. I want to kind of try and say something nice about them based on my own experience, but it hasn't been all that great. The thing that I found the most shocking, and Wesley kind of said it as well, is the difference in your experience based on your gender or who you're attracted to. So when you're a guy and you put down on your profile that you're interested in women, or that you are seeking a woman, there is certain things expected of you that wouldn't necessarily be expected of you if you were a guy looking for a guy, or if you were a girl. There's a lot of pressure put on you to be the one who instigates conversation, and that's something that I'm not used to doing and don't necessarily feel all that comfortable doing. Like Andie was saying, OkCupid is a very heteronormative space and it bugs me. The reason that I joined it in the first place was because I had heard from friends online that a lot of people that were on OkCupid were kind of queer and open-minded, and I thought that it would be a safe space for me to date. So I got an account, and I very quickly realised that the site itself isn't made for all sorts of people. It's I am a man or I am a woman, and I am looking for a man or a woman, and when specifying your orientation, it's either gay, straight or bi, and there's nothing else. So when I first got an account there, I put down bisexual. For me, it was the closest I could get to saying that I was queer. I was very nervous and unsure of myself, had no confidence whatsoever, because I was single after being in a relationship for a good few years, and it was also the first time that I was ever single and identifying as a guy. So it was very, very daunting, and I was hoping that maybe someone would message me. But the only people that messaged me were gay guys, or bisexual guys. But yeah, it seems as though when you're attracted to women and you're a guy yourself, it's that you've got to make the first move, and I don't really like that. I like things to be equal. I mean, if I liked someone, you know, if I saw their profile and I thought they looked cool or whatever, then I would message them. But every single time, bar one person, every single time I messaged someone, they didn't message me back. And that really bugged me, because, you know, like when Panda was talking about her experience and kind of saying about all the guys messaging her and how they're sort of creeps, I was really afraid of being perceived as one of those guys. But yeah, when it comes to for dating websites, I just feel like it's so heteronormative. I can't say that I've ever had a successful experience through online dating. I met one person from OkCupid and they were lovely, but yeah, we just became friends, which I'm actually really happy about. Meeting people online has been like a godsend for me, especially when I came out as a lesbian, because at that point I had no gay friends, I didn't know anyone, and I didn't know how I would be able to meet people. So I went online, and I was so thankful that it was there. I met a few people, I met a lot of friends. At that time in my life it worked, but just since sort of, you know, now being trans, it's not worked out the same way at all. I actually was speaking to a person for a little while online on a dating website, and then I eventually told them that I was trans, and they wanted nothing to do with me after that point, and that really scared me. And the whole reason I was on there in the first place was because I had no confidence in myself, and then that happened, which made it worse. But they were clearly an idiot. It's just that the thing that I find it very frustrating because of how limited you are in being able to kind of put yourself across. You know, because if you meet a person in real life, it's just a lot different to when you're on these websites, and you can only say stuff about yourself that if they're giving you the space to do that. So, for example, they tell you to put down what your favourite film is, so you put down your favourite film, or they say put down your height, you put down your height, or they tell you put down a bit about your career, you do that. So there's a specific section for every part of your life, but it means that there's a lot of things about everyone that gets missed out. And like Andie was saying, when it gets to the About Me section in OkCupid, you're then having to shove in as much as you can, but no matter what you say, you just sound like an idiot, because this is a person's first contact with you, and in real life, you don't hear about someone's life story straight off the bat. So for my profile, I kept it very simple, but I didn't get a good response. If you're still watching us at this point, I really encourage everyone to kind of get involved in the conversation. So you can tell us your own experience. You could tell us, what you think about the idea of online dating in general. If you like websites, if you don't, anything. We definitely encourage you to get in touch with us with comments, and even we really would love it if people made video responses. Yeah, so let's hear what you think. Okay.
Let's go out back and plant a family tree.